Hello. Um, this is, hang on before I start. Sorry it took so long for an update again. This past few weeks have been a little hectic. So, yeah, like starting to get back in a school routine is not easy. And I'm trying. So, I also gotta sign up for colleges and stuff like that. Very, very nervous about it. Um, Anyways, this is Tina Bart by Atia Blackthorn. Chapter 30. Nice. It's nice to meet you. Summary. Little assistant makes his debut. Du- Debut? No. Unlike the serious meeting in the abandoned building that Izuku has envisioned, the talking consisted of multiple small stops and asking some questions. The League simply wanted information, and there was a lot of people willing to share it. Of course, for a price. Izuku watched as different members each went to previous contacts they made and came back with another piece of information. Information that considered of what new groups there were and any new drug or absence of a drug. Big arrest, and of course information about heroes as well. Dobby, in particular, had came back with information regarding Endeavor's agency and recent arrest he had done. Another cool thing that was how no one spared a glance at the little assistant. After all, it was completely normal where they were. Everywhere Everywhere else they looked were people with various masks or things that made them look suspicious. So the little assistant fit right in. At one of the stops, Shigaraki came out irritated. I'm assuming that's irritated. Izuku could see his fingers twitching like he wanted to scratch at his neck again as he came up to the rest of the group. Before he could start scratching, Izuku went to his side and nudged him slightly. "What's wrong?" he asked, low enough that only Shigaraki and the rest of the group could hear. Shigaraki huffed. An and an annoying name keeps on popping up. I can't have one conversation without hearing the name overall mentioned. Twice turned his head. "Do you think we should set up a meeting with him, boss?" "What kind of name is Overhaul?" Shigaraki shook his head and gestured for Toga, who stood beside Izuku to speak. The girl smiled. "We decided not to meet up with the man, even if his name keeps on popping up. There have been a few times people were said Overhaul ended up killing someone during the meeting. I don't want to work with someone like that, and if one of you guys got and what if one of you guys got hurt? I don't think I don't want to take a chance of one of our members getting killed," Cherokee said. "We don't have enough information about the bastard to have a meeting, so instead we get information about him in other news." "Sounds good to me. Overhaul. Let's overhaul killed the kid." Oh, that line confused me for a second. Toga looped his arm. Toga looped an arm with Izuku before taking out a knife and twirling it around her finger. She looked relaxed, but even behind the mask, Izuku could tell the girl was ready to make any move needed. In a sweet voice, she spoke. "If he tried to kill the little assistant, I'll cut him. I don't think we like. I don't think we'll like it very much if little assistant died, right?" Itsuki felt an odd feeling when he saw the various nods of agreement and cruel smiles that appeared on the others' faces that obviously promised pain for those that made them look that way. Oh. He shouldn't feel so touched by the clear implications, but he was. Then, as quickly as those faces appeared, they disappeared, with Dobby declaring that now they had gotten what they came for, it was time for some fun. I don't think Dobby has it. What? I don't think Dobby is exactly having fun. Twice said to the little assistant as he heard the man yelling in surprise. Prize amount of obsidians. They watched the car he was in with Spinner driving, spinning out of control, for a few moments before going back in a straight line again. How did he get in the car exactly? Twice looked at looked Twice looked at how the little assistant looked away from the street, that now one last street light, and at him. The two dots on the mask. Um, uh, I don't know this word. Oh, fuck. Okay. The two dots on the mask looked amused. "You pushed Dobby into the car yourself twice, and promised to take measurements of Spinner for a new jacket if he drove off once you got him inside." The masked kid replied. Twice stared at the kid sitting beside him on the bench on the bench for a few moments before laughing. "Oh, right, I did." Then they went back at watching the car do donuts while the others went to get food, seeming to forget leaving Twice, Spinner, Dobby, and the little assistant together was probably not the best idea. Though Twice was enjoying little assistant's company, the kid seemed to have fun, and still was not at all bothered by his contracting commentary, and at times various threats. It was nice. Dobby looked pale when he stepped out of the car while Spinner crackled. I'll fucking kill you twice. I'll set you on fire the moment that the world stops spinning and I don't feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. Dobby threatened while hunching over, leaning against a light pole near the bench. Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad. Spinner called out from the car. I bet the little dude would have. I bet the little dude would do just fine being in a car with me. He appreciate it. He will probably appreciate that this is a freaking manual car. Before before Dobby could reply, even though he might have not been able to, the kid, the masked kid, seemed to perk up. A stick shift? He asked, raising his head if to get a better view of the car, the better view of the inside of the car. At the question, a big smile took up Spinner's face. Yeah, you want to come inside and check out while I drive? Dobby seemed to collapse a few inches upon hearing the proposition. Princess, I really don't think you should. Yes! Dobby watched in horror as their little assistant was practically jumping as they got into the death trap with Spinner. I can't believe we forgot who exactly we're leaving behind together. Sacco said when they came back with food. Magne, Magne, uh, Shigaraki, and Toga watched as the car with um, Midoriya in the driver's seat, Spinner in the passenger seat, um, drove by them while Dobby was laying with his arms uh, cross his face on the feet, on a bench feet away. Toga giggled. Spinner looks happy though. Of course Spinner would be happy, Shiraki said. It's not all the time he gets to have somebody drive him around and it's a manual car. How do you know it's a manual? Magnate asked, looking at him. Shiraki shrugged. Cars is all he talks about when we play any racing game, and the models that the game the game are real cars. And Spinner really knows cars. In their outing, it is decided that Spinner, Little Listener, and Cars should not be left on their own devices, which is how Little Assistant and Toga ended up shopping. The whole time Toga was kept reassuring the masked boy they were not stealing from any smart businesses or family-owned stores, but instead one among thousands of companies had over had all over the place. In the end, he got some more clothes, and Toga was practically excited for him to have. And Toga got Shigaraki a new hoodie. Also, Toga managed to find herself a suit to wear, saying, no, a suit to wear too, saying that they were now matching. Although the two came back to the bar with an abundant amount of knives, along with clothes. Shigaraki sighed. Did you get all those knives? I took Izuku-kun to one of my favorite places. Shigaraki sighed louder, while Spinner came up to them. Really? I want to go to that place. You said it was like a shooting range, but with for knives. You you even compete with others. How did the little dude do? Izuku-kun did really good. He ended up setting a new record, but a lot of them meanies didn't take it so well and chased us out while throwing knives. She said with a smile. Are they? Are you hurt? Magne said from her seat at the bar. Toga shook her head. No, Izuku-kun caught all the knives they threw without even showing his green lightning. His pretty green lightning. Several eyes looked at Izuku, who was blushing even more. Um, then, then they looked at the pile of different knives on the bar counter. A pile of knives that the hero student managed to catch and stop from hitting him and Toga without showing the most identifiable part of his quirk. They really shouldn't be surprised anymore. The name Little Assistant became a little more well known after another incident involving knives. It was during a meeting in the restaurant that had started to get a little heated. Izuku had simply uh, Zuko, as usual, simply observed while beside one of the others. He took mental notes on possible quirks and details about each person, and how it was of that he noticed one of the waiters to the side of the room was uh, at. Hang on, I'm gonna reread that. It was because of that he noticed one of the waiters to the side of the room that was poorly lit had taken a knife. Then he saw the exact moment the person threw the knife right at Mr. Compress, who was a few feet in front of him. With no hesitation, um, Izuku grabbed one of the metal serving trays at the table he stood by and, and he placed that tray right in the path of the knife. There was a loud thud when the knife embedded itself into the tray. The hit of it prevented it from getting through and to Compress's side, which was the only a few inches behind the tray. It was at the moment that Izuku noted that it was dead silent and everyone was looking at him. Nevermore had he been thankful for the mask he had on, which hid his expression. But even though all the attention was on him, he said nothing. He took the knife out of the tray, putting put it in his pocket before placing the tray on the table. Then he waited. What would happen? Would there be a fight? Is someone going to throw another knife? Did Compress want me to do that? Is he mad at me? Um, is he mad at me? Is he mad that I interfered? I just don't want him to get hurt. Are the others mad? The sentient, the The sensation of a gentle pat on his head got him out of his thoughts, and he looked up to see Mr. Compress had placed one of their hands on his head. "Why, thank you, little assistant." Mr. Compress looked at Shigaraki and the man he had been talking to. The man looked nervous, and Shigaraki, who had yet to do anything, "I think it would be best that I think it would be best to just tell me what I asked for, unless you would like to address what just happened," Shigaraki said. Less than a few minutes later, all of them got outside again, while Shigaraki seemed relevantly pleased with himself. As they walked, Spinner came up beside Izuku. "Nice going, dude." I- Izuku nodded and saw a curious expression appear on Spinner's face. "Did you have to take their knife?" He tried to throw it at Compress. Izuku said, as if it was fact that he was that it was if ah he tried to throw it at Mr. Compress. Izuku said, as if that fact had offended him. "It's free real estate." "Huh, I guess so," Spinner said, while Dobby laughed. Along with prophecies, that's not prophecies, related to knives and dancing, there were another skill that showed up during one of their outings. "Looks like he's turning to the dark side. Kirigiri would be so disappointed," Dobby teased, while even with a mask on, Izuku looked practically stressed out about the wallet he had held in his hand that did not belong to him. Izuku sputtered, "I didn't mean to, I swear." He said because he in fact, did not mean to pickpocket someone, and only realized he did so when Tice pointed out that pointed out what he had in his hand. Dahlia laughed. "Didn't mean to. Oh, that's good. But it's true." "Well, whatever it is, congratulations. You are now." Fifth, Dobby reached for the wallet, looked at the money inside. $50 return. Then he handed the wallet back to Izuku, who simply stared at the wallet in his head, but simply stared at the wallet with his head hunched over. Shigaraki sighed before taking off his glove and grabbing the wallet. There's no evidence you committed a crime," he said as dust fell onto the street. The others laughed as Izuku was now staring at the decayed wallet on the ground and said quietly, "That's even worse." Uh, hmm. It, it was fun reading this to y'all. I ended up kind of getting frustrated at one part because for some reason my mouth keeps on watering. I don't know why. So at some parts it does sound like I'm slurring. I'm not trying to, okay? it's just my mouth keeps on watering, and it's not helping when I speak. And when I speak, it gets even worse. So, in some parts, it sounds like I'm slurring. I'm not trying to. I'm sorry about that. Uh, Once I get better at reading words and knowing words, I'm eventually going to refake all of the ones I've done so far. But until then, I'm too lazy to edit, and this is what y'all get.